Hello, Enrichment scholars. Welcome back to eCoreAcademy. My name is Anita, and today I'm bringing you a new lesson under our Algebra 2 course. We're going to be concluding our miniature TI calculator tutorial series, and I'm super excited to bring this last and really challenging little video for you guys. Before I even get into the content, please hit the like button so that you like this video, and hit the subscribe button so that you are subscribed to our channel and notified of future content, and so that you can also follow along with this Algebra 2 course I am making. My brother is making a geometry course, and we both are collaborating on an anatomy and physiology course. Please check those out even if you haven't taken those courses, especially if you guys are an Algebra 2 student who's already taken geometry. Summer is the best time to review your old geometry concepts, so please check out that playlist. They're all up on our channel. All right, so let's get into what we have planned for today. So today we're going to be, like I said, doing the fourth lesson of our TI calculator miniature series tutorial, and it's going to be the final one. Today we're going to be doing linear regressions on the TI calculator. If you guys remember linear regressions, I did a little mini glance over it in my Algebra 1 review. So we're going to be doing that on the calculator. Like I said, I would try to be implementing the TI calculator into every single lesson we do as much as I can. So that's how we're going to be implementing it with the linear regression. We're going to get the TI to predict linear regression models for you. So if you're given a set of coordinates and it doesn't form a perfect linear equation, we're going to actually put them into the calculator and have the calculator give you the best prediction of a linear equation or a line that runs through them. Like I said before, we're going to be doing like a kind of a line of best fit. So which line best describes these points? So that's what we're going to be doing today. My first TI calculator video was on basic operations, as in turning the calculator on and off, resetting it, just knowing how to handle the calculator. The second video was on graphing features, really basic graphing features, as in using the y equals button and actually using the graphing capabilities of the calculator. And then yesterday's video, my third video, was doing some practice problems with you guys. So those are all in our playlist, Algebra 2 playlist on our channel. So if you want to watch those before watching these, I highly recommend you do so. You can access the playlist obviously on our channel as well. So just a quick recap, the TI calculator is the Texas Instrument calculator. We use these in high school, especially because Algebra 2 is a preliminary high school course. You are required to have one. You can purchase one on Amazon or Office Depot for about $100 to $115. I'll put the link in the description if you're looking to purchase one. These are really valuable in math class because your teacher really assesses you on how you are able to use the Texas Instrument calculator. And again, this is an ongoing learning process. And like I told you before, every lesson I bring to you, I'm going to be trying to implement the calculator as much as possible. So let's go over what we have to do in this lesson today in this little box right here. So let's address how you enter coordinate pairs into the calculator. So how you enter them into a table. Like I showed you 2 days ago, if you go to your y equals and your y equals is blank, you're not going to have any kind of coordinates in your table. But if you don't have an equation to graph, I'll show you how to still put in coordinate pairs so that you get those coordinates graphed and you can find the line of best fit for them. Then you want to plot those coordinates. So you have to kind of mess around the calculator a little bit so that it plots your coordinates, and then you ask it to make a prediction for a line that goes through those coordinates. We'll be going over that as well. Then we're going to calculate the regression models, as in the line of best fit, which is going to be a linear equation in this specific case. Then we're going to make predictions with these linear models. So if you're given x, we're going to find the y, and if you're given y, we're going to find the x. So we're going to do some problems with those. All right, guys. Again, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. And without further ado, let's get right into the video. Welcome back, guys. I am shooting a second clip. If you aren't familiar with my format by now, for these TI calculator videos where I'm doing tutorials, I found it most beneficial for myself and for you if on my webcam I change it to my face over to my actual calculator so I can demonstrate with an active screen. Meanwhile, I also have a diorama of a TI-84 calculator up on the screen. My cursor is currently going over it. So on this gigantic picture, blown up picture, I'll show you the buttons you need, and then over here here on the webcam, I will show you how it actually looks if you run through the exact same steps I'm going over during this little presentation. And also, I have the instructions written down for each one of these steps with a header of the step that we actually are doing. Please feel free to pause the video, read over these steps. Also, try to do it on your own calculators. Make sure if you have a calculator, you have it in your hands right now so you can follow along. If the pacing is too fast, again, pause the video or skip over to places that you specifically need to pay attention on to perfect your skills. All right, without further ado, let's get into our first section, which is on entering coordinate pairs. So again, with linear regressions, you're given a bunch of coordinates, right? And linear regressions are like linear equations, except they are not exact. With linear equations, you're given a certain like a set of points, and if you graph them, they form a perfect line. However, with linear regressions, you're going to be given some points, and they might not, when plotted on a coordinate plane, they might not look like they form a perfect line. And this has a lot to do with realistic applications. Like, for example, if you're given word problems and you're given a table with, like, let's say you're tracking the growth of a tree over certain months, then your coordinates, when you graph them, are not going to be forming a perfect line. It's just proof that there's no kind of perfect linear equation in real life, but we want to get the best prediction of a linear model. That's why we use these linear regressions, and we have the calculator predict for us what the best linear equation would be to represent a pattern. So first, we want to be able to enter the coordinate pairs we've been given. So what I'm going to be showing you now is if you want to enter coordinates into a table to eventually make a scatter plot and linear regression prediction. So we're going to be breaking this down as much as we can and take it step by step. So first, what do we want to do? We want to enter coordinate pairs into a table. So in order to do that, make sure you guys have a calculator. So I have one up here. If you don't, just follow along as best you can. So you want to hit the stat key first. Come over to this picture. I'll show you where the stat key is. It's right below the delete key. So you want to press that. Then you'll come to a new menu and you want to hit 1. 1 will correspond to edit, so you can edit the actual table. And then you want to input your coordinate pairs. Your x coordinates are going to go in your L1 column, and then your y coordinates are going to your L2. So think of L1 as your x's and L2 as your y's. Think of a regular table that you would use, that you by hand would write out before you graph an actual equation, regardless of what kind of equation it would be. So if you're a little bit confused, come over to my webcam. I'll actually show it to you on my calculator. So I'm going to turn my calculator on, and I'm going to follow the exact same steps I have written on this slide. So first, I'm going to hit the stat key right below the delete key. So I hit stat. I come to this menu that says that it's the edit menu. So I want to hit 1 because, again, if I hit 1, it corresponds to this command, and it says edit. I want to edit the table. So if I hit 1, I come to this blank table. This is the table that you're actually able to edit. So you're actually able to put coordinates in it. So I want to input my coordinate pairs, my x coordinates in L1 and y coordinates in L2. Combine together your L1 and L2 across from them. These two inputs right here would be your point. So if I had 0 in L1 and 3 in L2, the point would be 0, 2. You're reading it like a normal table. So I'm just going to give you some random coordinates. You guys can put them in your calculator as well. For my L1, for my x coordinate, I want to put like 0. And then you see 0 appear, and then I'm going to go over to my L2. Also use the circular keypad here with your arrows to navigate. Obviously, down arrow will bring you down, and then right arrow and left arrow will just help you navigate between the columns. So corresponding to 0, I'm going to put in 3, just for an example. So the point 0, 3 is on this graph. Then I'm going to put 1 for my x-coordinate. Again, these are just rough examples I'm showing you, and I'll put its corresponding y-coordinate as 5. Then then I will go down, and then I will input 2. And then again, I'm just coming up with random points. I'll give this the same. I'll put this as 4. As you can see, these coordinates don't form a perfect linear equation, but they're pretty close to each other. And then I'm going to put the x-coordinate 3, and then we'll put 6. And then lastly, I'm just going to use 4, and then I'll just give it the exact same number. I'll just make it 6. So these are the points on my graph. So I just came up with 5 random points. So these are my coordinates that I've been given. This is how you would input them into the table. So now that that's done, let's go to the next slide to see the next step. So you've entered your coordinates. What do you do next? So next, you want to plot these coordinate pairs. So after you've entered the coordinates, you want to plot them on an actual graph so you can see how they look. Because we're not entering an equation like normal. In a normal equation, you would go to your y equals and then enter it. There's a really different process that you have to follow, and it might look a little bit long. I have it actually written out on the screen right now, and a little bit daunting, but don't worry, it'll actually come as second nature to you by the time you get used to doing the linear regression models. So we need to first enable a scatter plot. So right now, your graph is set on a regular graph. So if you just put an equation near y equals, it will graph that equation. However, if I go to the graph right now, it's not going to plot my points because the points don't exactly belong to an equation or a function. So right now we need to go back to that table so you guys can see them. So what we have to do is we have to change it to a scatter plot. With a scatter plot, it'll actually graph the coordinates you have here in your table. So in order to get to the scatter plot, you want to hit second, which is up here. Then you want to hit the y equals key because right above y equals you have stat plot. So you want to access that. And then you want to hit the first option, which is plot 1, and then you want to hit on, so you can enable it with on keys down here. And then for the graph type, you want to choose the first one. Obviously, you can get to the first one using these arrows if you're not already on the first one automatically. And the first one is a scatter plot. That's what we're looking for. So then right below that, you will see X list, and your X list should be already set on L1 because if you look over here on your table, your X coordinates are your L1. So you want to make sure those correspond correctly. And same with the Y list, it should be L2 because your L2 are your Y coordinates. And then after that, at the bottom of the screen, you'll see a color marker. If you want to change the color of your coordinates, you obviously can. But for now, I'll just keep it on whatever my calculator already has preset. So let's actually do it over here on the webcam. So first, in order to enable the scatter plot, I need to hit second, and then I need to hit y equals, and then I'll go here to stat plots. Then I want to hit 1 for my first stat plot. I'm just hitting the number 1. And then right here where my cursor is blinking on, right now it's on off, but it's blinking on. So in order to enable on, I can just hit enter, and then it'll be on. And then for graph type, I want to choose the first. If you see type, it says first right here. Mine is already on scatter plot, but if yours is not, use the arrows left or use the left arrow to get to the scatter plot and then hit enter to confirm your choice. And already here, my X list is L1, already preset, and then Y list is L2, already preset. And then down here, like I said, you can just change the color. I'm going to leave it on blue, but if you're a visual learner or you need your visuals a specific way, you can always mess around with this. So now our scatter plot is set. Let's just graph it and so you guys can see. You guys can see the 5 points now graphed because we enabled the scatter plot. All right, let's go to the next step. So right before I do, I forgot I put this slide in, but it's a great reminder. I want you guys to remember that if you have a case where you have coordinates that go outside of the standard -10 by 10, 10 by -10 viewing screen, make sure you go to your window and you adjust your X-min, X-max, Y-min, and Y-max so you can see all of your points. That is your priority. You can't graph a proper regression model, and get a good perspective of what you're graphing if you can't see all of your points. So make sure you mess around with these points. For this scenario, I've given you pretty easy points that all fall in this range, but I'm just saying if you guys do kind of applications in your math class, make sure these are set properly so that you can actually see your points. Again, set up your viewing window to see the points you plotted. All right, let's go back to the graph. So what we want to do now is we want to find a line of best fit. A line of best fit pretty much approximates the best linear equation that passes through these points. So we're making a prediction. This linear equation that we find is not going to be the exact linear equation because as you can see, these points don't fall in a perfect line. It's an application. There's not going to be any real life scenario not many real life scenarios in which all your coordinates that you record are going to fall in a perfect line. So we need to calculate the regression model. Like I just said, the line of best fit. This is to best connect your coordinates. So this process is different for TI 83s and 84s. Because both were acceptable in my high school math class, my teacher gave us instructions to do calculate linear regression models on both. So first, I'm just going to run through the TI-83. I obviously don't have a TI-83, so I have this picture up for you guys. This is an exact TI-83. I'll show you the buttons here, and hopefully you'll be able to follow along if you have an 83. I'm really sorry I don't have one, so I can't show you on my webcam, but please feel free to pause this video and read through these instructions so that you guys know how to do the regression model and how to calculate it. All right, so the order of the buttons and the buttons you guys need to press with the 83s, first you need to hit the stat key, which is right here below the delete key. Then you need to go to your calc menu. So you're going to hit second and then trace to get to your calc menu. Then you're going to hit second, and then you're going to hit 4. The fourth option will be linear regression, ax plus b. So you're going to hit 4 on your keypad, and you're going to select this option. Then you're going to hit second, and then 1, then second, and then 2. And then after that, you're going to hit the vars key. The vars key is right here. It's to the right of program and underneath, pretty much underneath adjacent to the down arrow. So you're going to hit vars. Then you're going to have to go to a separate menu. Sorry, I won't be able to show you that, but then you go to yvars. You'll see the option yvars. It's going to be like along the top menu here. So you're going to hit the right arrow, I believe, to go to yvars, and then you're going to hit 1, and the first option is to say function, and then when you go to function, you're going to hit 1 again for y1. Then you're going to hit enter to enter that, and then you're going to get pretty much the linear regression model prediction. And then in order to see that actual line of best fit graph, you just hit graph. So again, please pause the video if you have an 83 and try these instructions out. But going to the next slide, I'm going to show you how to do it on a TI-84 and later, so the newer models. So this is to best connect your points. Again, we're calculating a regression model. So first you want to hit the stat key, which is here, right below the delete key. Then you want to go to calc. So you're going to hit the right arrow and you're going to go to the calc menu. Then you're going to hit 4 for linear regression, which is ax plus b. And then your x list for your x list, make sure it's on L1, and for your y list, make sure you have L2. And then after that, you want to hit second and then stat. So second key is right here, and then stat key is right here. And then frequency list should be blank. Your store regular equation should be vars. So what you're going to do is you're going to go down to your store regular equation. It should be blank. Then you're going to hit the vars button. And then you're going to go over to yvars. You're going to go to the yvars menu. And then you're going to hit 1 for function. And then after that, you're going to hit 1 again for y1. And then you're going to return to that screen where you had frequency list, and then store regular equation. And then you're going to highlight calculate. And then you're going to hit the enter key. And then you're going to be given the linear regression model prediction. And then you're going to hit the graph key. One thing I made a mistake in explaining on the last slide. Let me go back to the last slide. In order to get to calc, when you hit stat, it's going to be one of the menus above. You're not going to be hitting second and then trace for this calc. You're going to go to stat, and then you're going to have a calc menu at the top. Go to that. Don't listen to when I told you second calc. That's not correct. I'm really sorry about that, guys. So let's actually do this on my calculator with the TI-84. So I'm going to turn my calculator on. I'm just going to second quit so I can go to the home screen and show you from a fresh start. So first what you want to do is you want to hit the stat key like I just told you. Then you want to hit the right arrow to go to the calc menu, and then you have all these different options. So then you want to hit 4. I'm just going to hit 4 on my keypad. 4 because it says linear regression, ax plus b. That's what we're looking for. So you're going to hit 4, and then you come to this. So you should already have in your x list your L1, because in your L1, if you guys remember this table, I'm just going to take you back to the table. Your L1 are your x coordinates, L2 are your y coordinates. So let's go back to the calc menu. So this is already set. X list is L1, Y list is L2, so you're perfect to go. You should be fine in regards to this if you haven't messed around with it. So then your frequency list should be blank. Just leave this blank. And then I'm using the down arrow to get to these other blanks. So then when you go to this option right here, your store, you want to hit vars. So vars, like I said, is down here. My index finger of my right hand is tapping it right now. So you want to hit vars. And then you're going to come here and you want to hit right to go to that yvars menu. So you're going to hit right, go to the yvars. Then you want to hit 1 because you want to go to function. And then you want to hit 1 again, which is already on y1. And then it puts y1 in for you. Then you want to hit the down arrow so your cursor is blinking over calculate. And then you just want to hit the enter key. And now your linear regression has been calculated. So it says y equals ax plus b, right? And it says a equals 0.7 and b equals 3.4. You might be thinking, Anita, what does this mean? So in this case, for linear regressions, the a will be your slope. So a corresponds to the value of your slope, and this b corresponds to your b in a regular linear equation, as in your y-intercept. So the equation of this line would be y equals 0.7x plus 3.4. Again, 0.7 as in your a would be your slope, your m, and then b equals 3.4 would be your y-intercept. So again, the equation is y equals 0.7x plus 3.4. All right, let's go to the next slide. So what we want to do is we want to make predictions. Oh, before I get to that, let's actually see this line graphed. So if you guys see, this line was not there before. This is going to be your line of best fit. So the calculator is pretty much approximating the best line that passes through these points to represent a linear equation. So that's your line of best fit. I hit graph and I got that. So next we want to make predictions with this linear model. So if we're given x and we're trying to find y. So what I mean by this, if you guys remember from my graphing features video, we did problems where we were given the x value and we're trying to find the corresponding y value, and we were given the y value and we're trying to find the corresponding x value. If you guys know anything about coordinates, x and y are like peas in a pod. They go together. Together they make one coordinate. So if you're given one, you should be able to find the other one if you have the equation of the line or the function in that matter. Here we have a really good prediction. Therefore, we should be able to find any y value given an x value, and we should be able to find any x value given a y value. Here, I'm going to show you how to find a y value given the x value. So first, you want to hit the second key. Second key is right here. And then you want to hit the trace key. And then you go to the calc menu. Then you want to hit 1 for value. And then you want to input the x value that you're finding, that you have been given, and that you're trying to find the corresponding y value of, and you want to hit enter. This is a pretty much a review of your graphing features video. I'm going to breeze through this very quickly, and just remember, just pause the video, read the instructions. For these two, making predictions with linear models, they're pretty straightforward. So first I'm going to hit the second key. Then I'm going to hit the trace key to go to the calc menu, and then I have this short list, and then I'm going to hit 1 because it's on value. I'm going to hit 1, and then I get this x equals, and then my cursor is blinking here. Let's say I want to find the y value when x is equal to -1. So I'm just going to type -1 there. And then I input my x, and then I need to hit the enter key to find out what the y value is. And then if you see, it's blinking on this line of best fit, and it's giving me the approximation that when x is -1, y equals 2.7. Again, this is not perfectly accurate because remember, this is a linear regression. If you see these lines, these coordinates don't fall exactly on this line. This line is the line of best fit. It's giving me the best approximation of what it would look like if I had a coordinate, whether the x coordinate is -1. It says that the y coordinate would most likely be 2.7. So that's the approximation. You're given the x and you're trying to find the y. All right, let's go to the next slide. So we're making predictions with the linear model again. Here we are given the y and we're trying to find x. If you see this, the instructions listed on this slide, they're a little bit longer if you remember them for my graphing features video. I explained them pretty much in detail. When you're given the y, what you have to do is you have to pretty much enter so let's say, let me put it this way. If you're given the y, let's say you were given the y is 5, and your teacher's like, find what the x coordinate is when the y coordinate is y. What is that point? So what you're going to do is you want to go to your y equals, and you want to go to the second open slot. So since y1 is already taken up by this equation, you want to go to your y2, and then you want to enter 5. You're going to get a horizontal line when you graph it. So when a horizontal line is graphed, you want to find the intersection between your original equation and then that horizontal line. If you find that intersection, the point of intersection is technically the answer, and the x coordinate is the x coordinate you are trying to find. I know it's a little bit much to wrap your head around now, but trust me, as you do it a lot more, you'll understand the whole concept of graphing that horizontal line to find the point of intersection and thus your x coordinate. So let's actually do it here. So you're given your y and you're trying to find x. So let's just use the exact same example I just said. Let's say you were given that y is equal to, the y coordinate is 5 and you're trying to find the x coordinate. So how would you approach that? So first you want to hit the y equals key, which is right here to the left of window. then there's already going to be an equation in y1, which is the equation of this line of best fit. So it's already going to be there. Then you want to hit the down arrow to go to your y2, which will be empty. And then you want to type 5 in because y is equal to 5. Don't worry about the slope. Again, you're trying to graph a horizontal line to find the intersection. Then you want to hit graph to be able to see that line graphed, and it's going to pass right over your original line. And then you want to hit second, and then second button's right here, and then trace button is right here. And then you are going to be taken to that same menu where we hit 1 for value. You're going to instead hit 5 for intersect. Then you're going to be taken back to the graph screen, and you want to hit enter 3 times because it's going to say first curve, second curve, and then guess, and you're going to hit enter for every single time the calculator asks you one of those. And then you're going to be given the point where they intersect, and then the x-coordinate is technically your answer. But depending on the problem, it might ask you for the entire coordinate or just the x-coordinate. Just make sure you read instructions. So let's do it over here on my calculator. So first I'm going to go to the y equals. So I already have that first equation, this line of best fit, already entered into my y1. I want to hit the down arrow to go to my empty y2, and I gave you the example of y equals 5. So let's type 5 into y2. As you can see, I didn't include any slope because, again, I want this to be a horizontal line because I'm trying to find the point of intersection. So then what I do is I hit the graph key, which is right here, just to see that line graphed. And if you see, it's a horizontal line that passes right over my original line of best fit. So we're trying to find this point exactly where it intersects. Don't try to approximate just looking at the screen. Have the calculator give you the exact point so you don't make any mistakes. In order to do that, we're going to have to go to the calc menu. So to get to the calc menu, you want to hit second, and then you want to hit trace because right above trace you have calc. You go to the calc menu. Instead of hitting 1, we're going to hit 5 for intersect. So I'm just hitting the number 5. So we're going to go to intersect, and then you're going to see first curve. I hit enter. Then second curve, I hit enter again. Then guess, I hit enter one last time, and then it gives me the point of intersection. So the x coordinate is about 2.857143, and then your y is 5. So together, this is the point where these two lines intersect. Again, you were given the y and you found the corresponding x. This point is a point that lies on your line of best fit, and also a point that lies on your horizontal line. So this would be your answer to the question. You're given the y value of 5. You're trying to find the value of x for this given line of best fit. So that's how you would do that. Okay, guys. So one last slide that I want to cover is why else is my TI valuable to me, and I want to cover some real-world applications. If you guys saw my introduction to Algebra 2, I told you I would always promise to add some kind of overview of how these lessons I'm teaching you can be applied to real life. So I know a TI calculator isn't exactly a concept in itself, but I made 4 episodes for you guys off of it, so it's a very crucial part of your Algebra 2 year. In geometry, I know a lot of my friends in my year of school in 9th grade, they were like, we barely used our calculator in geometry if not for simple computation. But Algebra 2 is when the big guns come out and you learn all the features, all the workarounds of your calculator. Obviously, you'll advance on this knowledge in pre-calc and calc, but this is really where you establish the foundation of what does it mean to graph on a calculator and things like that. So it's very valuable to you because, as you saw, it just did these very complicated things for me. Instead of me having to go through each of these points, finding the slope between them, averaging the slopes, and doing all that to try and find the line of best fit, my calculator just took the coordinates I needed it to graph and then found a line of best fit for me. So that's kind of the real world application. In this box down here, I wrote down 4 main reasons that I identified where this calculator comes so much in handy. The first would be patterns. So what patterns I mean are kind of your word problems that you might see in math. Let's say when you grow up, you have a garden outside and you are trying to grow, let's say you're trying to grow a specific vegetable. You're trying to grow spinach, and you're trying to measure how tall your spinach grows each week. So you're trying to identify if there's something wrong with your soil or if there's something wrong with the food you're feeding it because it's just not growing as fast as you thought it would. So what you would do is you might measure the height each week and document the week. So week 1, it might be 3 inches tall. Week 2, it might be 5 inches tall. I'm just making these numbers up. So what you would do that we just did today, after you have all these corresponding points, so like for this week it's this tall, for this week it's this tall, you might document all of them, and then you could go to your stat and put those values into a table. So your x coordinates would be your weeks, and then your y coordinates would be how tall the spinach was at that week. And then if you graphed a equation like this, you're able to identify the kind of the pattern and the rate at which the spinach grows. And I think that's really cool. Second, for finance, I haven't taken financial literacy yet, but this calculator could be so valuable for your finance, especially if you're trying to calculate like values, trends, patterns, things like that. If you're big with the stock market and you just want to try out something for yourself, you can always use this calculator with the graphing feature, graph values over the years, try to find some kind of pattern. If you have a business, you could also use this calculator to see how much you're profiting, if your sales are going up, down, whatever they are. If you're trying to plot a bunch of coordinates, let's say one year you really dipped, but you're trying to find like a general linear equation to represent how your profits have been doing since the year you started, this could be great for you. So that's how finance and kind of the business kind of life would be incorporated with this TI calculator. Next, standardized testing. So I've taken the SAT once, and my calculator came in handy like a lot, because your SAT is really built off of the heart of algebra. So they recommend that you know your two algebras, algebra 1, algebra 2, and you've taken geometry in order to do the SAT. So this guy comes in handy a lot when you're trying to graph equations, and even when you're trying to do computation really quickly. So standardized testing like the SAT, you need to be able to know how to use these calculators, because there's a calculator section. And lastly, just quick computations. If you're feeling a little bit lazy, or there's some kind of computation that you really just don't want to do in your head or by paper, if you have a calculator at your hand, obviously you should use it to your advantage. So it's useful for quick computations. Let's say you're doing some personal finances and you need to add the value that you spent on groceries and your house rent when you're older. You can obviously use a calculator to add those values instead of having to mentally occupy yourself with adding this number and that number. So it's useful for very quick computations. Again, please pause the video. I would totally recommend you guys to find other ways this TI calculator is useful to you. Even put them down in the comments below. Let me know, because these calculators are so valuable, and more people should have access to them because of how useful they are, not just in math, but in so many different realms of life. And that is it for today. Thank you for joining me on this mini series for the TI calculator. I know it's been kind of a long ride. I hope it wasn't bumpy for any of you guys. But even if it was, please rewatch the videos. And go to specific places that you need help with. If you've already watched them, note down the timestamps that you have, where I talk about a skill that you need help with. And if you have any questions or suggestions, or if you saw something I did wrong by chance, please comment or please contact me. So our website link is right up here, www.eCoreAcademy.org. For now, it'll redirect you to our YouTube channel, as we're still starting up, but a website and a platform are being built for you guys, and there's exciting news regarding that we'll be talking about later. We also have a Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram actually up now, and the accounts are going, so please look into those. Again, I'll have all these things in the description box for you guys, so please follow us on all these social media platforms and help us spread the word. If it's easier for you to talk about our channel and spread it to your friends via these social media platforms, please look at those. I post stuff on those every single day. I post reminders of videos that we posted the night before if you guys didn't see them. So please utilize these channels so that you're notified of our posts as well. And I also put other interesting stuff up there so we can just establish a really strong and good community. And lastly, if you have any questions or suggestions that you would rather not put in the comments, this is like a professional only for business inquiries. So this is our Gmail. Please contact this Gmail account. And that's all I have for you today. Remember, even during these unsure COVID times, for lack of a better word, please stay productive and do what you can to help the community, whether it be volunteer service, helping other kids. A lot of online platforms are letting you tutor other people. So please reach out and help others the best way you can. We're trying to help you students during these times because we know education is really bumpy right now because a lot of it is self-taught. AJ and I have this vast library of knowledge. We have many notes from all these courses we've taken. Instead of sitting around with these notes, we're like, shouldn't we be spreading these to other kids? So that's the basis of our channel. We hope you guys really know that, and we hope you guys want to support us in opening up our community to so many more people. We're trying to help as many people as possible benefit from this. So that's what this whole TI calculator series was about. I'm trying to help you guys get used to this calculator, especially if you're going into Algebra 2 this year, and if our first semester of high school is going to be remote, you might as well learn how to use this calculator. So that was the whole purpose of this series. I really hope you benefited from it. And well, that's all I have to say for you guys. So I'll be continuing my Algebra 2 course, and look for more updates and posts for the day over the days to come. All right, peace out. Have a great and fun day.